Hey guys, so we're going to do a garden haul today. If you see a random fuzzball on my head or anywhere in this vicinity, we are feeling better. Still sick, but feeling better. So we're playing right now. We're just being a little helper at the moment. So let's get into the video and see what I got. Alright, so first up is Espoma's Organic Plant Tone. It's an all-purpose plant food for bigger growth and blooms. So it's this guy. It's an 8-pound bag right here. This is supposed to, let's see, it's an exclusive biotoned formula. What are you doing? It's a 533 granulated style. It features feather meal, poultry manure, bone meal, alfalfa meal, greens and sulfate and potash, and sulfate of potash magnesia, so like 2 different types of potash. Okay. It's a slow release for nitrogen from the feather meal and the poultry manure and bone meal and alfalfa meal. Let's see. Also contains non-plant food ingredients. It's a humic acid derived from leonardite. It's a 1% for that. 98.9% inherent ingredients, or inert ingredients. Inert is a non-plant food ingredient fertilizer. So they're supposed to be certified, this USDA certified bio-based product. So this is supposed to be certified organic. You can do it as a drip line, watering, or you can do it as just a slow release kind of situation. I haven't used any of the plant tone or anything like that, but I hear that they're really good. We have another one from Espoma. It is called Garden Tones. This one's geared towards bigger and abundant harvests for vegetables and herbs. This one is a 344. Can we settle down and find out? Okay, so this one has the same basic instructions as far as all of that goes. But this one is a slow release from the same nitrogen and all that other stuff. So basically this one just has different ingredients kind of geared in a different way. Also contains the inert ingredients. So I'm going to give these a try and see how they go. It is also another 8-pound bag. I have the annuals and perennials. It's basically for plants. For flowers, this is a 354. What are you doing? You okay? That one hurt, huh? Well, we're walking and licking ourselves, so I think we're okay. Okay, so this one's for Jobs. I have had great success with Jobs. So I started off with Miracle Grow, and then we switched to Jobs granules about halfway into the growing season, and I noticed that the abundance of growth just kicked right off real well. We also do another brand. You'll find them at Home Depot mostly. They're in these big blue gallon jugs. One says Grow, one says Vitamin B12, one says like iron and something else. They all do a different job, but between the Jobs and the Grow, they do pretty well. I like using the granules a little bit better because I can water really well and apply it before I water versus the other way where you have to water and then pray that you don't overwater, because I have some containers. So yeah, you can kind of water at the same time as that, but some of the plants in the containers don't like a lot of food right away, so they like the slower release kind of situation. What are you doing? Get off my shoes. You little heathen. Alright, so basically with that, those bags were meant more as a large scale kind of scenario, where these are kind of showing smaller scale scenarios. It shows even like on the back plant sizes of 2 inches versus a flat surface for soil prep, and then they have seedlings and new plants, and they have like pots and different size pots and established plants and shrubs, and you know where you would put the drip line and how much food per item that you would want to do. So like for example, if you want to do it before planting, you would do 1.5 teaspoons for a 2-inch plant, versus if you have a new seedling, you want a 4-inch pot and 1.5 tablespoons, my bad. You would do basically to do the same thing for a new transplant. For a new seedling, you'd put it in the pot and everything like that. What are you doing? So there's that, and it just kind of varies. So like a 16-inch pot, you would do 1.5 cups versus a 4-inch pot. So the bigger the pot, the bigger it is. But this is just going to be when you first start the grow season and stuff like that. It does state that this will not burn plants when applied at above rates. So say you're just kind of eyeballing it and you don't measure exactly. You're just like, oh, that's good. It's not going to hurt your plants because it is completely organic from what they're saying. So I don't think I have any other big bags. I have 2 of these, and then I have the 2 Espomas. Both of these companies are completely USA based. The Espoma's ones have been around since 1929. That's when they established their company. My husband thinks that maybe the 2 brands are linked somehow, or like owned by each other or something like that. I quickly looked it up, but I couldn't find anything. The last thing that I have is these guys, and these guys are fertilizer spikes for roses. These ones do all types of roses. It doesn't matter the type of rose. I am using the Job's Knockout Rose, so it gears specifically for the Knockout family. And by Knockout Rose, they basically mean these are going to be luscious bloom kind of roses versus your typical Playboy, where they're the singular petals and stuff like that. So the Knockout Roses, those families tend to have the double blooms, the bigger stuff like that. I do have one that's called Intrigue. I think it's part of the Knockout family, but it wasn't labeled as Knockout family. I do have one that's specifically labeled as Knockout family. I had 2 more, but they died. My husband thinks that they might come back. I think they're goners. But there's 10 spikes in this bag. The net weight is about 16 ounces. That's about 2 pounds. He said 1 pound in his video, but I don't think he was paying attention to the difference, so it doesn't really matter. For these guys, you're going to want them to be about 10 to 12 inches from the main stem. If your plant goes between this is plant diameter 2 feet, 3, 4 feet, 5, 6 feet. Climbing roses use 1 spike for each 2 feet of height. So I'm assuming that they mean by a bush how bushy it is, and for the ones that aren't bushy how tall they are. The recommended between the 2 to 6 feet is 2 to 4 spikes, unless you're doing the climbing rose, and that would be 1 spike per 2 feet. This is a 9-12-9 granulated formula. Trying to think. You do have to hammer this into your soil. However, I would say that that would be more so for like very stiff soil. If you're using a light soil, like it's really fluffy and all that other stuff, you probably can get away with just pushing it in, or even like using a stick or something, or the back end of your shovel to make a hole for it. I don't think you really need to hammer it, but you can. But you are supposed to hammer this in about 2 inches into the soil. These spikes are pre-measured, giving your plants just the right dosage of nutrients so they won't overfeed or burn the plants. So that is kind of nice that you can kind of leave it and forget it. And then once it is done, then you would take it out. It does say to use it every 8 weeks or as needed. So that's one thing that you could use every so many months. So 8 weeks would be about every couple of months. Depending on your season, I would say it would be plus or minus. What are you doing? So, but that's all I have for that as far as that goes. Sorry I'm a little distracted and everything. One, I'm hungry, and two, I have a fuzzball running around causing mischief and mayhem. So I will see you guys on the next one, and hopefully you guys found any of this interesting, and I will get back to you on how well these work. Oh, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Forgot that.